What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna check out AMD APU tuning utility, as quite a few people have wanted me to check this out. Now, the people that actually know how to use this program say it's better than Armory crate, so I figured I'd give it a shot, and in this particular video, since I'm basically a complete noob with it, basically just downloaded it, I figured we would have just a friendly little mat. I'm gonna go test the 3 stock little wattage levels of AMD APU tuning utility against the 3 levels of Armory crates, you know, like silent, performance, turbo, versus I think this one's eco, balanced, and performance. We'll just test those versus each other. Now, I'm not gonna make this a very long video because honestly, I'm still a noob at this, and this is gonna be basically like someone else who doesn't know what they're doing downloading this for the first time. Just seeing what it does. I'm not gonna do any manual tuning. I'm not gonna do my manual settings versus one of its, you know, presets, because that's not fair. We're just gonna stick to the 3 versus 3. And then in another video, once I actually learn how to use this program a little more, we'll go more in depth with all the different things this utility can do. But for now, I figured we would get our feet wet a little today, and that's it. So why don't we go ahead and jump into some screen capture mode and at least look over this setting. I'll show you where to download this application, like where I am right now, and how to download it, and then we'll go check out and do our little test. So let's go hop in, shall we?
Well, all right, let's jump right in here. So to get this program, you can just come right over here. I'll try and remember to link this in the description. And it explains what everything does, which is nice. This is a very well done website, honestly. A lot of these kind of programs just kind of throw you to the wolves unless you're like a super insanely like crazy programmer or something that already knows how to do all of this stuff from like previous like college work or what have you, you know? So it's good for people like me who don't really know the most about this kind of stuff. And I got all sorts of stuff. Now you can go to the release page, which brings you to this page, which is where you download it. So you can just literally click right here for Windows, which is what we've got. So just hit download, and once we hit download, it'll come with a little file, and then we can unzip it. And after we unzip it, we can actually launch it. So I'll download it and get it all unzipped, and let's go mess with it. All right, real quick, I just wanted to show you guys, this isn't one of those programs you install. It's one of those ones you unzip the file, and once you unzip it, it'll just kind of look like this. So we scroll down, it's got all these stuff that makes it work. So you're just going to leave it alone, leave it in your downloads folder or wherever you unzipped it, and then you can just come here if you want a desktop icon, and then send to desktop, create shortcut, and then bam, then you got yourself a desktop icon for it. So now let's go run the program, shall we? Well, once you launch the program, this is the home page you're greeted with. It says, welcome to AMD APU tuning utility. How nice. You can join their Discord, Reddit, you can support them, get some help, and go to the latest release tab, which will bring you right to that website, I'm pretty sure, and let you download. And then this tab is the one that's kind of like the main screen on the Armory crate, where you got eco mode, balance, performance, and you can find device presets there. Now, this seems to be more of like a CPU settings screen. Custom presets, it says. This is probably where you go to really get down to the nitty-gritty. So I'm going to have to learn what all that shit does before I even bother attempting to mess with anything. I don't want to fuck anything up. And then you got more clock control here. So this is probably like overclocking or what have you, or undervolting. You can probably do all of that stuff here. But this is the first time I've ran this, so don't hold me to that. We're just learning this kind of together. This is the first time I've launched this application. Huh, interesting. You have a little information window here. Shows your clocks and all that stuff. Holy crap, look at that core latency. That's a lot of latency. Anyway, and then you got your general settings, so you can have it start up on boot, start minimize, and enable that magpie thing you're talking. You can even apply the auto overclock at start, but do not do that unless you're absolutely sure that the thing is stable. Same thing with overclocking your GPUs. Never, ever have it do that unless you're 100% positive it's rock solid stable and isn't just going to freeze your computer every time, you know? So now my basic plan here is to run like eco mode versus silent, balanced versus performance, and performance versus turbo. And then at the very end, we'll do manual just for fun. And then during the whole thing, we'll just run it on Windows. When we're using this other program, I'll just leave it on Windows and close the program and let Windows do its thing, meaning this guy should be able to take over, I think. If that's not the case, obviously someone let me know and I'll redo this whole video. Because I don't like spreading misinformation and whatnot. And then we'll just come over and we're going to start by running CPU Z benchmark because it's easy to run. And this is just a preliminary kind of thing. And then after we're done with this benchmark, we'll go run Forza Horizon 5 as a game just to see what all of these do, And then, of course, I'll come back once I actually know what I'm doing with this program, and we'll do a way better, more in-depth video about what all it can do. And like a manual mode versus this thing's manual mode. All right, now, this is silent mode. Now, I should have brought up the little window for Armory Crate to show you what one I was on, just for a visual reference. I'll try to do that for the rest of them. But there's the multi-thread and all of that stuff, and single thread. So now, why don't we go run the APU utility and see how that does. I figured before we get in and do the benchmark, I'd show you what the settings we're going to run are. I'm not going to show the screen every single time, though, because I'm not changing anything in here. So now let's go over to our graphics, and this is the graphic settings we will be running with. And now, let's go run that benchmark. Benchmark just got done on silent mode here. Here's all the settings we ran yet again. And you got all those stuff, but we averaged 58 and 1 stutter. And there's our average latency and all that good stuff. So, now why don't we go and see how the AMD, utility runs. And see if it does good or bad. Well, now, after running the CPU Z benchmark, we got 49 single thread and 500 multi. So I'm willing to bet this mode is mostly just for if you don't have access to charger or something, or your power went out. So I'll go try Forza, but I don't think this is going to work very well. Well, after waiting 1 hour and 38 minutes, I timed it for this to load. We finally got this screen to kind of pop up. It's kind of stuttery because it's not very powerful. I'm surprised it even let me screen record, but we averaged a whopping 13 FPS with only 1 stutter, though, so I'm surprised about that. I figured it was going to stutter a lot more. Anyway, now let's go move on to the next Armory Crate setting, which I believe is performance. Well, all right, let's see how the performance did. We got 606 for single and 5,518 for multi. So definitely a step up from either of the others that we've done so far. But if I recall, this thing's problem is it doesn't put the fan speed up very high, so it kind of just neuters itself by letting it cook itself to death. But anyway, now let's go run over and see how it does in Forza. Well, the benchmark is all finished. And it did a little bit better. Oh, and I should say I don't have Armory Crate open at all during all these tests. I know it kills performance. We averaged 66 FPS this time with 1 stutter. So definitely not bad. Not bad at all. But the temperatures are definitely a little bit warm. Anyway, though, let's go hop into the next test. Well, now it's time to try out the balanced mode. And it got 598 for single and 4,934 for multi, so it went teensy tiny bit lower on the single and quite a bit lower on the multi, but in actual percentages, I don't really think that's huge difference, but let's go see how it does in the game. Well, all right, so on balanced mode and the APU utility thing, we ended up with 64 FPS instead of 66 and 1 stutter count, so that's hardly any different. That's 2 FPS difference. We got a little bit cooler on CPU, and the GPU is like 80 degrees. No, I guess it's using about the same. So the GPU is about the same as terms of temps go. Anyway, though, now why don't we move on to the next test? So now we're going to see how turbo performs. We got about the same single thread as before. A little less on the multi, I believe, actually. I think I got 5,500 last time with the performance. And I do not run this in the background while I do my benches, just again, so you guys aren't thinking I do. I know that lowers your performance, and I wouldn't want that in the benchmarks. That would negate the whole point of the benchmark. I don't even run OBS in the background. I turn that on after the fact. The whole program isn't even on. So here's how turbo did. There's all the same settings we had before, just so you guys can ensure there's no shenanigans. And we got a whopping 1 FPS more. Same stutters. Basically everything's the same, except for we got 1 FPS better than before on performance. So this is why I always tell people, don't use turbo. It's kind of garbage. But anyway, now let's move on and see how the other program fares. All right, so performance on this APU performance tuning utility is 51 multi and about the same single, so not bad, but we lost a little on the multi actually. I think it was like 54 or something before for the turbo mode. About the same single. It was like 607, I believe. But now, let's jump in the game and see how that fares. Well, it just got done, and I was not expecting this, but we got way less FPS at 49 average, and we got 308 stutters. It was very stuttery. So I don't know what's up with that, but obviously performance mode does not work very good on this particular laptop. But the whole point of this program is probably to sit there and actually tinker with it the right way, not with the presets. So this is not knocking the program or anything, just throwing that out there. I'm just trying out the presets first before I learn how to use it. That's all this video is. Now I figured just for fun, I'd show you guys my manual mode. I haven't learned how to use the other program yet, so not gonna do any manual stuff on it yet, but this is just showing you the best it's capable of now with what I run settings at. And we'll see how that correlates. So it definitely got us a little more. We got 608 on the single, but still, it's about the same as they were on all the other things, to be honest, except Eco. And then 5600 on the multi. So we did the best on the multi for sure. Anyway, to the game. Well, all right. Now my settings on my custom settings here are all done. On manual, we achieved 68 FPS and 1 stutter. So definitely got the most with mine, but not a huge difference. I think it was 64 to 68, so a whopping 4 difference in FPS. Not the biggest deal in the whole world.
Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for this video. Now, of course, I'm going to come back to this video once I have learned how to use this program properly, and then we'll do a proper manual, my manual on the Armory crate versus manual on this guy. So now that's why I was figuring people are like, well, what the hell? He didn't even, do any manual on it. Well, that's just because I don't know how to use it yet. That's why I left it to the just presets, the noob-friendly presets. So that is why I just decided at the end, I was like, you know what? Let's just show them what the difference is between all of those and my manual. And then next time we do a video, I figured we would go ahead once I learn how to use it, and then we'll go my manual on that versus manual on the APU tuning thing here. So other than that though, this video is pretty much over. Now, as I was saying in the, well, hopefully I remember to say this when I do the voiceovers, but I always had it on Windows on the Armory crate when I was using that APU tuning utility, so it should not have been affecting it in any way. And then likewise, I never had the APU tuning thing up whatsoever when I was using the Armory crate stuff. Try to keep it apples to apples, you know? But in any case, that's all I got for this video. As I said, we will definitely come back once I've learned this program a little more and do a more in-depth video, and I'll show you guys what all I learned and what I believe are the best presets, or what other people are say are the best, because half the time I don't find out the best stuff. It's usually other people recommending me stuff, and I always give credit where credit due. Just like I didn't find this program. I had this recommended me by at least 4 or 5 different people. So thank you to all of you guys who recommended this program. It seems like it's gonna be very interesting. I just have to figure out how to mess with fans. It doesn't seem to pump the fans up very high. So temps get kind of high when we were in the game. But as you saw, it got hot with my settings too. So it's not like that's a knock on the program or nothing. I was just saying, it'd be even better if I could mess with the fans. I could probably get even better temps while getting very similar performance, you know? Anyway, I'm just rambling on and on and on. Time for us to end this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it. And until the next video, peace out, guys.